So first,
absolutely,
and I was
let's dig it all up.
Oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar. Yes.
And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Also Podcast, Summer House Edition, Season 9, Episode 13. I think we have like 2 left?
2 more. 2 regular episodes left. Expect 2 reunions. Because they finally did release, I think Miami is taking over the Summer House slot. So that's how I really knew when this end date would be.
This is just, I don't know how I feel about this season. I think there are good moments, but I think the overall season is kind of terrible.
See, I was thinking about the show and thinking we've gotten to some really dark places with some other shows where everything has to be so dramatic. And I will say, I don't, like, I am enjoying this season for nothing chaotic happening. I think this is the one show that when it's boring, I still, like, enjoy seeing these people.
Agreed. But it's just not memorable. Like, when someone, like, 10 years from now when my kids are like, I'm not going to have kids, but you know what I mean. 10 years from now when a kid is like, what was a memorable part of Summer House? I won't pick any moment from this season. You know
I will say Paige double backing around and ready to chew Kyle out for a second time will live rent-free in my head.
I don't think so. I even forgot that was this season.
I won't ever because of the dress she was wearing. I'm like, girl, he was wearing full white.
I was just telling Meredith how, like, I just watched this episode this morning before recording, and I already thought, I was like, I don't remember what happened.
No, this one especially is missable. Like, I always go back.
Great way.
Like, there were no quotes that inspired me. There was nothing where I was like, "Oh my god, I need to take a picture of this and like make
I didn't
a meme
laugh
out of
out
this."
loud
like,
that hard. It was very like, oh, funny. But sometimes I'll like pause and actually crack up because we have to take notes. So I don't want to miss anything. That didn't happen this episode.
Or I think like, oh my god, I want to know what Alicia says about this, or I wonder what the internet is saying about this. Yeah.
No, nothing.
There was nothing.
All right, great. Before we get into this episode, the snooze of an episode, we have an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube, a Patreon. All those things are not snoozes. You go check those out. There's tons of content on there. Go eat it up. What else are you doing? Like educating yourselves? Come on. Go brain rot a little bit. Also, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Okay, Meredith, let's get into this episode.
Bore of an episode.
So previously on Summer House, Carl met a cute girl. Kyle wants kids, but he might be sterile. Jesse's in hot water with all the girls. Lexi found out about all the shit Jesse's been talking about her, and she confronted him, but Jesse wants to keep sleeping with her. Or he says he cares about her, but he doesn't. Anyway.
Read between the lines. Jesse meant he wants to keep sleeping with her.
He just wants to fuck her. So it's Friday, August 23rd, 4:27 p.m. Paige and Lindsay drove down to the house together. This was my favorite part. My 2 favorite people driving out of the house together.
Why didn't we actually get like the full drive? They basically just arrive and like walk into the house.
Paige fell asleep in the car. She was like, I'm done. But they get to the house and immediately they gossip. Lindsay's like, I saw Lexi this week and she was really sad about Jesse. And Paige is like, the relationship's weird. Everything that happened in it was weird. And they're like, so weird. And then Jesse and Lexi walk in together and it's weird. It's weird for everyone involved.
I know. The way they're like, whoa. What's going on here? Like, I'm sorry, Alicia, if you were dating Jesse and all this stuff went down and then you just like walked into the house like nothing happened, I'd be like, stop the fuck right now. Why wouldn't you say something? You made this a whole house thing. You got to tell us that you made up.
I blacked out when you said I was dating Jesse because I'd rather stab myself.
Not actually, but if you went through a relationship like this, I would be pissed.
See, the hard part is I would immediately call everyone and tell them what happened, but I have to do it on camera. So you like wait, I think, but then you show up and it's like, what's going on?
But if this were really planned, those 2 would be like some of the last people to arrive.
That's
and so there's
true.
Maybe like 2 cars left and it's like, oh, it's like Wes and Jesse and maybe like Lexi is in that car.
That's true. So no one knows what to do. But the girls do talk at the kitchen table. And Lexi's like, we had hours and hours of conversation. And I was like, that is my hell. I'd just break up. It's not that serious. I would just break up.
It gave me more more hope for her because at least it wasn't just that one conversation, or maybe it was that one conversation,
It
but
wasn't.
from
There
what
were
we
more.
saw, it felt like it was going to be one little like, oh, I don't want this to end, and that's it. At least there were hours and hours of conversation and she got back together with him, but still you got back together with him.
Well, Paige and Lindsay are both like, this is weird. They're weird together. So then we get to
Yeah.
Carl and Wes driving down together, and Wes is like, listen to what happened to me. And I kind of feel bad for him.
No, why is
sympathize
Wes
with him.
the superstar of this episode?
Why do I feel bad for him?
Dude.
Why am I trying to get him out safely of this house? So he tells Carl that last night he went out with Jesse and Lexi came and her family also came. And then Wes had to spend the night watching Jesse grind on Lexi in front of Lexi's mom. And let me tell you,
we knew this was happening. We clocked this like week 2.
There are so many things wrong with the sentence. First of all, if I go out with my friend and then the girlfriend shows up, fine, whatever. But you spend all night grinding on her, terrible. Second of all,
yes.
I have to watch it, awful. Third of all, I have to watch her mom watching it. I would rather die.
That's the thing. You can't do all of this to your friend. Like, listen, some parents are fun. I think my parents are fun, but they aren't coming to a club with me and my friends. Like, or you should at least warn your friend. It's like, hey, my parents are in town. This is what we're doing if you want to join us. Yeah. I didn't get that impression from Wes. It kind of seems like he got there and it's like all of this was happening.
He was blindsided. This man was not blind. He was blindsided. And let me tell you, I am done with weird families. My parents will not even see me look in the direction of a cute boy, let alone grind on one.
Same.
Grind?
Literally same.
Grind? As far as my parents know, I've never held hands with a man. Grind?
And
terrible.
Why are we getting this family pushed on us so much? Through every conversation, we're constantly either seeing them or talking about them. They were on Watch What Happens Live behind the bar. I'm like, stop. This is Lexi's freshman season. It's not like Carl's mom, who we see once a season. Over every year, we see her once. And we've known that man for 9 years.
It's because this family wants to be famous.
I know, but like, why is Bravo letting this happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want it. Bravo, if you're listening, I don't want it. Stop this.
I enjoy seeing people's families and who they came from. Like, that is nice to see a glimmer of like their life, but I don't even know Lexi. I know more about her dynamic with her family than about her herself.
And it's fucking weird. Stop promoting weird families. I thought TLC was the place I had to avoid. I didn't want to see weird families. And now you're putting it on Bravo. I don't want weird families. And by weird, I mean too close. Like, I don't want that.
I was about to say, next episode, they're like going to be kissing on the lips. And we're going to have our final battle.
This is turning into Sister Wives, and I'm over it. Leave us alone.
So true. So true.
Anyway, Wes is just as disturbed as we are. So then we cut to Amanda and Kyle. They're driving down with Ciara. And Amanda said she went to Gabby's with Lexi. And Lexi's sister was also there. And she relays the information that Jesse and Lexi had a conversation. And Lexi is willing to give Jesse another chance. And Amanda says she's all for giving second chances. God knows she's given Kyle enough. So she's kind of just like, do whatever, you know? And Kyle says Jesse portrayed this relationship so differently to the dudes. And Ciara's like, yeah, what happened at that guy's dinner you guys did? Kyle's like, honestly, it was more about you than anything else. Which Ciara's like, the fuck are you talking about?
This is why we need the house dinner where everything is aired out. Because we are still not being honest. Yeah. And nobody, like the actual 3 people involved, Lexi, Jesse, and Ciara, do not know everything that's going on. I mean, Jesse does because he's the one doing all of it. Well, actually, Jesse doesn't because he's lying to himself.
No, he literally has no idea.
It needs to all be aired out in front of everybody. Because if Lexi knew that the entire guy's dinner was about Ciara, like, that would bother her. And, like, rightfully.
Mm-hmm. So Kyle basically says the dinner, they discussed how Ciara touched Jesse at the cancer dinner. And how it was like, Ciara can't be doing that. And Amanda's like, oh my God, Jesse just can like not take responsibility. They're like, it's okay if Lexi wants to set boundaries, but like, own that. You can't blame Ciara for that. Like, just,
Yes,
it's
like,
so weird.
If you haven't had the conversation with her, then how is she supposed to know she's not supposed to be interacting with you the same way you always have?
Yeah. So back at the house, it's still really awkward. So Lindsay's like, hey, everyone, touch my belly, feel my baby. And so they do. And then Amanda, Ciara, and Kyle get to the door. And guess what? It's fixed. The door is fixed. Amanda can walk right in.
No,
I missed the door already. I know.
That was like one of the most interesting parts of this season.
No, truly. So it's super awkward when the Amanda, Kyle, Ciara show up because they don't know what's going on with Lexi and Jesse. And then Wes and Carl get here. And then Kyle's like, hey, I gotta go get a call from my sperm donor. And everyone's like, that's even weirder that you're taking it over the phone and not an email.
Yes, that's diabolical. But that shows where Kyle is willing to put everything on TV. Like, he will do everything for, not for a storyline, but to make sure there's content. And if it makes it great, and if it doesn't, whatever.
No, that shows Kyle's age. Kyle's literally a middle-aged man.
No, I think all of this was recorded. I think there was a camera in there with him, and I think that they just cut that conversation.
I think Kyle's kidding us. He doesn't know how to work an email. He can't do a PDF. He doesn't know how to print a PDF. He doesn't know how to work. He still is on Yahoo. He has no idea what's happening. So Carl,
like, there's somebody probably dedicated at Loverboy to like turning Teams on for him.
Yeah, Kyle's assistant is like, here's how we turn on your computer. I'll just take care of it. Kyle can't, he can barely button his pants. So everyone's sitting in the living room and Carl asks Lexi how she is. She's like, I'm fine. It was a rough week. And Carl's like, I'm rooting for you. And I was like, shut the fuck up, Carl.
No,
literally,
no.
I don't trust a thing out of Carl's mouth because he roots for everyone. He's just
Alicia,
a good guy.
This Carl saying that made me realize, like, Jesse and Lexi are just like Carl and Lindsay. Like, both of them should break up with the other person. Like, this relationship is no good for either party. It just needs to end. Like, whoever does it is, like, doing something good for the both of them. Like, I cannot root, I cannot watch, I cannot do this anymore with this relationship.
Also, Carl's the same guy when, like, Kyle cheated on Amanda. He was like, you guys will work it out. I believe in you. Shut the fuck up. Honestly, you have no backbone.
Seriously.
Just shut up. So Amanda then, in front of the whole house, is like, Jesse, what'd you take away this week with your conversations with Lexi?
Call him out. Call him the fuck out. I loved this.
And it takes Jesse a second. He's like, I need to learn how to communicate better. That's it. And so Ciara's like, oh, so you're not a two-faced liar? That wasn't your takeaway? And I went, she's such a joy to watch. She's truly,
oh my God.
Because she says it angrily, but so serious at the same time that you just have to answer.
She like asked a question too. Yeah. So it's like, there's a pause and she'll wait for that answer.
So it's 5:34 p.m. Ciara just called Jesse out in front of everyone. Jesse doesn't know what to say. And Wes, he's giddy. He's in his chair and he's like, it's not me. It's that fucking weirdo. Karma for making me watch you grind, probably. But as long as it's not me. Boys' friendships, they don't mean a thing because the minute Wes is free of Ciara's anger, he goes, Godspeed, my guy. And he doesn't give a shit about his friend. And I stand by that.
I believe Wes would defend like Jesse a little bit if there was something to defend. Like Wes, I think every step of the last few episodes, so like the last week, has been like, oh, this guy is a sinking ship. Like there is nothing I can do to save this.
Wes is like either Jesse and Lexi break up or one of them die. So if Ciara wants to kill him, hey,
go for it.
Hey, it's okay. Jesse, though, tells us, he's like, now I know how Wes feels because Ciara's not fun when she hates you. And I was like,
that's such a bullshit comment. Like, stop it right now.
So Kyle's back with a ton of fucking sperm. His nuts are working overtime. He gets someone pregnant just by sneezing on him. And everyone's like, congrats. And then Kyle's upset because Amanda's she's just eating her salad. She's not happy enough for him.
Like, what the fuck do you want me to say? You're doing great, okay? Like,
she didn't know until 3 days ago that he even thought his sperm was sterile.
True.
She's like,
true.
she didn't even have time to process it. She was like, okay.
I honestly think he only cares this much because 3 days ago she said she maybe doesn't want kids.
No, truly. If she had said, get me pregnant if she had said at dinner, I can't wait to have your children, let's do it immediately as soon as you know, he would be like, oh
out.
no, I'm not sterile. How do I sterilize myself?
Like, wow, she's really putting the pressure on.
Yeah, fuck. She's forcing me to have children against my will. That would have been him. So
it would have been exactly how we talked about them, like, moving to New Jersey last year.
Yeah.
Like, he would have been so upset, and it would have been all about him and how he needs to, like, he needs to focus on work. He wants what he doesn't have. Like, whatever Amanda wants, it's like, that's his enemy. He hates her.
No, I think he's one of those people that just loves to do the opposite. If you say the sky is blue, he'll say, actually, it's not because it's a reflection of the ocean. And you're just like, just shut the fuck up, dude. I want kids. Well, actually, I don't want kids because kids will ruin lives. Okay, I don't want kids either then. No, we should have the option to have kids. It's like, okay.
It's like, chill out.
You don't know what you want.
You're so right. He only has an opinion of it after she has an opinion. Or like whatever she does, it's his reaction is like a million times bigger and it's always the opposite.
She could literally say, I want to go to the movies tonight. And he would be like, I actually don't think we should waste our day at the movies. But he didn't have an opinion about...
How could you not to want to, like, spend a night in? Like, you always spend the nights in, and now you don't want to?
I can't go to the movies. I have to take my sperm doctor call. Like, fucking shut up. I'm so over him. Anyway, we're going to do dinner tonight at 2 different places. We're going to split up, which is always fun. And then Ciara, she's like, I'm going to make a drink. So she makes a little drink and she has some extra. And Wes is like, hey, I'll take that extra if you're not going to have it. And Ciara's like, okay, here's my extra drink. And Wes looks like he just won the lottery because Ciara gave him liquid in a glass.
Okay, but this is why she, like, also is going to, like, go back into her shell with him because he makes every moment then such a big deal. Weird. Like, just take the fucking drink and, like, be chill.
Also, honestly, can I say something? I'm going to say it. If I was Ciara... Even if I, like, didn't really hate Wes anymore, the fact that he's making such a big deal out of me hating him means I'm just going to continue hating him. For the fun of it, honestly. Like, I have nothing better to do with my days. Yeah, I'll roll my eyes. I don't really care.
It doesn't, like, benefit me to be nice to you if this is how you're going to act.
No, literally. Okay, this is when I was like, where's Emerald? Meredith.
I was too.
Where is he?
He's at this house somewhere. I cannot believe we didn't see him in this episode because a viewer, like one of the Bravo pages, posted how she was at the same restaurant that one of the groups ended up going, and Emerald was at the table. I did not see him anywhere. I didn't even see glimpses of him. I didn't like fully check the beach day, but he was nowhere to be found in this episode, and I'm so confused.
I don't know why they're doing this. I think he was at the dinner with the West dinner.
It was West, Ciara, Amanda. Yeah, they Lexi, clearly just cropped him out on the West and Carl side.
Yeah, because he was on the other side of Carl. For sure. Yeah. Because the camera angle was weird, and I did clock that, but I was like, maybe they didn't have enough room to set up or something.
No, he was probably in the frame. They just enlarged Carl and West's side of it.
At the time, I didn't know he was there. Yeah. I was just saying as a viewer, I was like, maybe they didn't set up the camera correctly, or it was a weird setup. But knowing this, I would just like to say bravo, or the production team. I don't really care. I don't know what your angle is with like cutting him out, but it feels icky. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels gross.
I agree. And I know...
I'm not going to say it feels racist, but it feels weird. You know?
I mean, we know that Bravo tends to not
like white men?
favor... Well, they don't favor any person of color in any of their shows. And so they do... That's just a bias that exists in the world anyways, but we see it heavily on Bravo. And so I just don't think that they... are interested in him with the bias, and then they heavily anchor it with these cast members that have been on it forever. So even like Gabby, who has been around a few years, we barely know anything about her because they just have focused on these other storylines way too much. They just don't give people time to like warm up to an audience before axing them.
Mhm.
So I think that leads to it a lot. And then I do know whenever like in reality TV contracts, you have people who are going to be there, like you get a certain episode minimum, and you get paid per episode that you're in. And so I bet those main cast members get, like, let's say, I think there's 15 episodes typically. Let's say they're guaranteed 10 episodes, and then lesser cast members will be guaranteed less and less. So sometimes they'll tell them to stay home instead of like, oh, I'm busy because I'm going to this. They'll just tell them not to come because they only have to pay them for 6 episodes. So that helps keep your budget down. So I do get that. Like, same with Friends of over on the Housewives. But it's weird to have him there that weekend and not showcase him. Like, it makes more
Yeah.
sense just to be like, hey, don't come, because they're trying to manage their budget, their storylines, everything.
It does feel yucky. Whatever the reason is, I don't like it. It makes me feel
No.
weird.
Because they made him seem like a full cast member too. I think if they would have presented
Yeah.
him as a friend of, because he did technically come in late during the summer, and I think he was a substitute for Bailey leaving. Like, I wonder if they were kind of frustrated with Bailey. They wanted a new person. They pick up Emerald. Like, they should have just made him a friend of Kyle's. And I don't know if that's what he was paid as. It kind of seems like that might be how he is at the reunion, because he didn't stay the whole reunion. He didn't hang out with the guys after. And it feels like he's going to be cut, which just doesn't seem fair, because that's
Yeah.
a Bravo issue.
It feels weird. It does. It does. Sorry, but whatever. I guess we're stuck with these stupid white men that are all terrible.
Yes.
So Carl, Jesse, and Kyle talk outside. Carl's like, hey guys, guess what decision I made this week? I'm about to sign a lease for Soft Bar. And everyone's like, oh, that's great. Tell us about the lease. It's 7 years. And I went, oh no. Oh no.
I don't know what a standard one is.
I don't either, but 7 years at $10K a month seems like a lot.
I think Schwartz and Sandy's was $20K a month.
Oh, I bet so too. I mean, I'm not doubting that, but listen, I obviously don't know much about real estate, but Greenpoint's a very up and coming neighborhood. You're going to get a warehouse, and that's fine. That's what he leased on. But like, how do I say this? I'm not going to go hang out in a warehouse that doesn't have some work done. So Carl does say he also has to do some work. They have $600K for build out. Well, okay, but I also feel like 7K or 7 years is a lot, especially for like a new business that hasn't like launched maybe at a smaller scale. So you don't actually know the interest in this, especially you're not really serving alcohol. So like, what we have to gauge the interest somehow.
And we've seen what happens when you tie your business directly to a reality TV star, or even just a famous person. If the whole entire brand is built off of somebody's name and identity, that's a really risky business strategy. And so
especially for a
what
man.
What happens if like Carl's no longer on reality TV, whether he even goes like, you know, in a good way or a bad way, out of reality TV? Like, that's a lot of money and years to base it on a business that, when the highest margin is typically alcohol. Like, that is it's already a hard business, and then you're building it on an unstable like promotion strategy.
So my friend who lives near Greenpoint, where the bar will be, she was like, I would go once, but it's hard because he's not going to have alcohol, and we like to drink. And then she was like, and also I'm not going to pay $18 for like a non-alcoholic drink. So like the business plan seems concerning. Also, we know in real life, in real time, he has asked for public funding, so he didn't have enough to.
Which I think asking for public funding is a good idea to get people interested and actually anchor them in the business. But it seems that they don't have enough funding outside of that. Like, I think that should be a side, as in like a promotional tactic to like make people truly like socially invested in it, not just financially.
Well, I think if you want to do it like closer to launching your actual business, so you can be like, you can get in on it too, or like maybe after you open. But to do it, he did it like, I think it's supposed to open this summer, and he did it in like January. So like 6 months in advance, I'm not investing in your bit, not even for $20, my guy. And then Kyle is like, I don't know anything about leases. how can you get out of the lease. So either the good guy clause is intact, which is basically like, if no matter what, Carl's gonna owe this money for the duration of the lease. So like the good guy clause is like he's locked into paying for the 7 years at 10K. Even if he's late on it, he will still be responsible for it. And the only way really out of the lease is like bankruptcy. So
Well, they can they can get somebody else to take over the lease.
Yes.
That's a huge piece of it. Is if they go out of business and they find a new tenant, then they're out of it.
Yes.
But
well, he
the
would
only
still,
real
I
way
think his
to get
name
out
would
of it-
still be on him. It's like a sublease. Your name would still be on it for the good guy lease, but someone
where
else
if that
paying,
business goes out, it's like
that's-
you still keep having to find the sublease.
Yeah. So I personally wouldn't do it.
I know.
But that's just me. I meant to do this before, but if it's 10K times 12, so every year he's paying 120K, times that by 7. So he owns, oh my God, his rent is going to be $840,000. He owes
but over
840.
7 years, but like 10,000 just a month on rent is challenging. And then you have to pay for this whole build out. Like, I'm sure that's a lot of the investment is the build out, but you have salary to pay. You have your overhead costs. You have your ingredients. Like this is challenging.
Just on the space alone, he's saying this business is going to be like 1.4 mil. He's not going to break even his first, I don't know, 2-3 years, probably.
No, because I think of this, I think in the early phases, I think a lot of people will go during the day, kind of like the coffee shop vibes, all of those things. Like I would happily go because it seems like it's going to be a big space,
during the summer,
big co-working space, basically. But you hit a point, like there's a reason coffee shops are small. Like you can't own a lot of space and rent a lot of space when you're just selling between $7 and $14 drinks.
Do you think he's going to have food?
I would bet some, yeah, but well, he has a big enough space that like you kind of have to actually.
Then he has to build or have some sort of kitchen, all the supplies.
Which is more other employees, more equipment.
Listen, I'm the dumbest accountant known to man, but I look at a business plan conservatively and I look at the numbers. And if you're putting 1.4 mil alone into the space is what you're responsible for, we're not even talking merch that you're obviously going to make and try and buy. We're not talking all the ingredients. We're not talking the silverware, the cups, the food, the employee. Like, you've just valued your business at like 10 mil. Like, truly, that's crazy.
And like you said earlier, you have no history with this. This is a brand new business. You haven't been operating you have been operating samples out of your van because I don't think that they've been doing a paid service. But I really do think our recommendation that we had during his soft launch of just doing it out of the van or having two or three vans to do items and like make sure that you have interest and make sure like the running community like knows about you and all these different communities know about you before you buy a physical space.
Just yikes, my guy. I mean, Kyle and Jesse seem happy for him, but at the same time, they're kind of like, I don't know, my guy, you know.
Kyle seems nervous, and I do trust Kyle's like business sense. Like,
I mean, he's done a lot of business.
I think he even got in over his head a little bit with Loverboy just because of how fast he tried to grow it because of the demand in other states based on the show.
Yeah.
But like Kyle was like, oh, okay. Like this, you're in for it.
I think that's the other thing is Kyle has he has built a business from the ground up. He worked on Bird Dogs, which is a huge brand in New York specifically. I see the store, I see people wearing them, and I always think of Kyle. But to build Loverboy from like the ground up, and Loverboy's not even, I would say, that big. I think they have one small space in New York. And then from there he operates. He obviously sells a good, so he has to buy all that. But like he doesn't own, I would say, a huge space. If anything, he's just renting for office space.
That's the thing. Like that's peanuts compared to like what Carl's about to be in.
This is crazy. And as far as we know, Carl hasn't built any businesses before. He really hasn't had to be responsible for anything.
I mean,
fine.
And we've seen how good he is at sales. Like, he often lost his job, so
He was in
he
dental
isn't the guy.
sales. Dental sales, and then he worked for one of his friends in sales. He better be
And
good
struggled.
at sales. Sell
He's
me on the
not,
idea,
though.
my guy. You better sell me on the idea.
I don't know. I worry about him because I don't want him to
I do
fail.
too.
I like the idea as an idea, but I think it's a really hard concept in how he's going
I
about it
agree.
too.
I agree. So we'll see,
We'll
I
see
guess.
this summer. I mean, it's supposed to open.
We'll see, I guess.
Alicia
So-
literally will see because I will be forcing her to go.
I'll go. So Kyle says Lindsay will probably throw some jabs, so be ready for that. And Carl says he never expected Lindsay to be in his corner. But his honest opinion is that she's not hurt. She's embarrassed. And there's a part of her with these jabs where she's trying to feel better about the embarrassment. And I was like,
Shut up.
A, I'm going to kill him. And B, obviously she's embarrassed. She was engaged to a loser who broke up with her right before the wedding. Of course she hates you. Of course she hates you.
She
Yeah.
has a little bit of joy inside that she doesn't
for
have to
sure.
sit through this. Like,
Oh,
she's like,
no.
okay, I got out. Like, I was already
She-
happy I got out, but now I'm really happy I don't have to deal with this shit.
Woof, she's thrilled. And then Jesse, actually the voice of reason, is like, of course Lindsay would be embarrassed. It's less than a year that y'all broke up.
Yeah.
She can throw some jabs.
Dude, I'm throwing jabs at you and I was never engaged to you.
Never
I'm not
dated
embarrassed
you.
about you. Like, these
I'm
are
embarrassed
rightful
for
jabs.
you. I'm embarrassed for you a lot of the time.
If Lindsay was like going on social media and like talking up a storm about this, I'd be like, yeah, wow, that's a Lindsay problem.
But she's always
her
asked.
saying to her friends, like, yes, it's like,
She was asked, are you going to go to his thing? And she's like, I'd rather watch paint dry.
even
Great.
if it was the best idea in the world, no, I'm not fucking
No.
going. Because she did you see what her post on social media was
No,
after the
what did it say?
episode aired? It was like a 3 like reasons why. And it's like one of the main things, which I fully agree with this. She's like, I'm not going all the way into New Jersey for a
No,
business
literally.
that technically hasn't even launched. Like, you're soft launching a business that
She's
hasn't soft launched.
pregnant too. Here's
Like-
my thing. Here's my thing. To all my exes, to anyone I've ever hooked up with, to anyone I've even had a crush on that I don't keep in touch with, I hope you don't die. Other than that, I don't give a shit what happens to you. You have a business. I don't care if it lives or dies. Truly, I don't care if you fail. And sometimes there are some exes out there. If your business does fail, I will crack up. I will dance on its grave. I don't care.
It goes
I'm
back
not
to the thing we
embarrassed.
talked about with Wes. Like, they don't owe you anything.
No.
Lindsay doesn't owe you coming to your soft launch for Soft Bar. Like, she doesn't owe you to be kind and supportive and like the cheerleader you really wanted her to be when she was your fiance. She's really not going to do it when you're not engaged. Like,
No,
what are your expectations and why
I'm
are
sorry.
they like that?
She didn't believe in you when you were engaged to her. She's not going to believe in you now.
Honestly,
Please.
please.
So then Jesse's like, hey, switch to me. I thought Lexi and I were over.
Wait,
And I
really
was-
quick. This was
What?
edited opposite. That
Oh.
Jesse conversation happened first and then the Carl conversation, because when they walked up and they actually started talking and it cut to Carl's conversation, Kyle was talking about how all the cans were dirty, and then when it cuts to the Jesse conversation, he says it again. He's like, oh, hold on, let me clean off this can for you. Let me get you a different one. And then they're like, Jesse is like sitting down. I was like, why did we flop those conversations? It's not like it was required.
Bravo editors do better. Do better. We
Do
keep catching
better.
you on mistakes. That's crazy.
It was like a really easy one because of Kyle's obsession with his dirty
my
cans.
God. That's a business owner right there. His dirty cans, not under his watch. So, yeah, Jesse, let's talk about him and Lexi. Jesse really thought they were going to be over, and he was depressed because he cares. Can you believe? And out of nowhere, it like blew up in his face. He cannot comprehend.
Out of nowhere.
cannot comprehend.
What?
I can't
I
spend
don't get
another.
this man.
I can't spend another episode trying to
He's
figure him out.
all I have to say is he's gaslighting himself at this point.
No, truly, and it's kind of funny. I think more men should gaslight themselves instead of gaslighting us.
No, because it's at the like it's just ruining Lexi even more.
Don't fall for it. You can't. It's one thing to put effort in gaslighting me knowingly. If you're gaslighting yourself, I will just watch and be like, all right, weirdo. Anyway, he says the only other girl he's been in love with, and I went,
No.
oh my God.
No.
Was when he was 18, 19. He had a full fro, this guy, and his best friend slept with her. And I went, tell that story. Immediately,
like,
I'm interested.
Shit.
Immediately tell me that story. But that's why.
And like, are you friends with that man still? Because like you shouldn't be.
I gotta know everything. But that's why he has trust issues. And I was like, okay, that I guess makes sense, but you should go to therapy.
Yeah. This is like 20 years ago, my guy. Let's figure that out.
You shouldn't be blaming the next person you date. You should have gone to therapy. We're 32.
And it's crazy
let's go to therapy.
To be like, oh, she yelled at me for talking shit about her behind her back. But like when I was 18 years old, my friend slept with my prom date.
Imagine dating a man and you're like, stop yelling at me. And he's like, I can't because when I was a teenager, someone cheated on me. And you're like, you sucked someone's toe while we were together. What are you talking about?
I don't think there's cheating. I don't think him and this girl were actually dating. I think his friend just slid in on her and it was like, hey, I liked her.
Hey.
And it's like, that's still shitty, but like,
hey, guess what?
My guy.
I don't care either way. Go to therapy. Your baggage is not, you cannot put your baggage on me. We are in our 30s. And here's the thing. In your 20s, you can try and take the baggage of someone else. By the time we're 30, I don't have time for this. I've gone to therapy and learned about all of my baggage. I can't take yours on. My baggage is my baggage.
And it's
when you're like, 20, when you're 20, you will carry someone else's bags around the airport. By the time you're 30, I could do it myself. You do yours, I'll do mine. We don't have to coexist.
But it shows the lengths that Jesse will go to not take accountability because he's like, yeah, but this is my friend's fault now.
Yeah, let's listen. That whatever story whatever way this happened, that sucks for you. But you get minimum 4 years to like try to deal with it yourself. If you're still not over it after 4 years, if you can't get past it through college and you graduate still having issues with the same shit, go to therapy. It's no one's fault anymore. You have to deal with it.
Listen, even if you don't deal with it, stop using it as the excuse of like why something else is happening and why you're not accountable. Like, go be alone and do your bullshit over there. He's
going to have like grandkids and be like, I can't trust your grandmother because when I was 18, my bestie. Is that why he's mad because Wes and Lexi were like hugging that one time?
Okay, that would make sense. That's the only piece of this puzzle that like I get is triggering because like that goes together.
Go to therapy though. Work through it. It's not their fucking fault. It's not their fault. Nothing was happening.
Like, that's not Lexi's fault. If you think somebody was inappropriate with your girl, why don't you go talk to your best friend? Because like Lexi wasn't doing anything.
No, literally, I'm so over this. Go to therapy. That's it. Do you know we wouldn't have Bravo if all the men just went to therapy?
No, we would. We would just be happy. I mean, a lot of this country would be a lot different if men went to therapy.
If men just went to therapy.
It's
so easy. It's crazy, right? So then Ciara, Lindsay, and Lexi talk in Lindsay's room. Lexi fills them in on Jesse and how they had really good conversations this past week. Who knows if they're going to be together forever, but they're working through their miscommunications and they're just going to let it go.
The fact that Lexi dropped, I don't know if we're going to be together forever. I'm like, girly,
you're not.
It's been like 7 weeks. Why are we talking about this? You guys can't go a week without having issues. What do you mean forever?
I had a friend who was with her boyfriend for like 10 years and she's like, if we break up, and I'm like, you still think you might break up? She goes, I don't know. I can't tell the future. I was like, no, you're right. Props. So
I bet that's a stable relationship.
So then Lexi asked the $1 million question. Meredith, to me, there's only one right answer. So I'm gonna give it to you and let me know if we have the right answer.
Okay.
Is Lexi really gonna break up with someone because he's bad at communicating when they really care about each other?
Yes.
That's what I had too.
Yes.
I had that too. But I think the answer Lexi was looking for was no.
Lexi talking to Ciara and Lindsay right now, like Lindsay will listen and is like, oh, girly. But Ciara is like, the fuck are we talking about this right now? Her face was everything.
Ciara, I just want to be so clear. Ciara is where I am with like my I Hate Men campaign. We are on the same level. I hope we both have a bisexual awakening. I hope we both go through it. I hope she ends up dating a woman. Fuck these men. Fuck them.
I looked at her and I said, thank God she has that martini. Like, I couldn't do this conversation without that.
Truly. So Lexi then thinks Jesse could be worth training. And I said, if he's over 10, we don't train. We don't train a man. We're not his mom. We're not his mom. No. He's older than you. You don't have to train him.
It's not like she said, I need to teach him how to, like, let me have some space after a fight, or like what I
have to learn how to work together.
Needs. Yeah. No. She said train.
She said train.
She said
he could be worth training.
This is when I was like, both of them need to break up with each other, because I'm sorry, Jesse, I would be offended if somebody told me I need to train you. I mean, he does need training, to be honest, but like, you shouldn't have to be trained, and you shouldn't have like your person talking like, this is not a good relationship. This doesn't give me hope for you two.
The way I said, never in my life do I have time to train anyone. That's why I don't even want kids. I can't train them.
I don't even want a dog. Like, I don't
even want a dog. I'm petless because I don't want to deal. Oh my God, a full-fledged man who's older than me, no doubt, too. Send him back to his mom and be like, he's going to be single forever unless you train him. That's who chose to have him. Not your problem. I cannot enough. Anyway, Jesse just needs to learn not to act single. And okay, let's move on.
I was like, wow, we have to train him to do that?
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
And then Lexi's like, hey, Ciara, how are you and Jesse? And Ciara's like, listen, I don't give a fuck about your guys' relationship. I have my own shit with him. He's two-faced and he's talking shit about me. And Ciara's like, look, I don't care about his boundaries. If he doesn't want me to touch him, that's fine. If he doesn't want me to call him, that's fine. Whatever. But don't blame me because I'm crossing boundaries you have never told me about that were fine 5 days ago. You know, like, and then Ciara's also like, and he's punching above his weight. So, like, this man needs to be brought down some pegs.
Loved that she said that.
So it's 7:02 p.m. We got the two groups going out tonight. Lexi and Jesse do a weird hug kiss session. Kyle's even freaked out by it. And Kyle's the most accepting one in this house.
Did you hear what Kyle said when he was walking to the bathroom?
He just said they were weird, right?
He was like, oh, they made up and they now won't stop touching each other. And I was like, yep, no, we're back to the PDA Central. Like, can't go 5 minutes without touching each other.
So West, he's in his room alone because Jesse's always in Lexi's. And he's trying to be better at being open and honest. Because last summer, he had a college friend who passed away. And the 1 year of that anniversary was Thursday. So yesterday. Which I went, did we see that or did I
No, he said that he didn't open up about that last year because he has a hard time opening up about that type of stuff. And I get that. Like, your first season, like, going through a death of something not on
related
the show.
To this,
Yeah, I don't think I would have brought this stuff onto the show, especially at the end of the season. You know, you're like a few weeks away from it.
Yeah. So we split up into two groups. We have the catch. And then we have the second group, and we don't know where they go. But so the catch group is Paige, Lindsay, Kyle, and Jesse. So we're really doing a random seating. But I loved it.
But I was thinking, I was like, this is the group actually I need Jesse to be separate from Ciara and Lexi. And then obviously Kyle and Amanda always have to be split up. And like Ciara and Paige need to be split up. I liked the breakout of these. No. But yeah, most random groups. Production obviously put this together.
Anywhere Paige and Lindsay are, I'm obsessed. So this is where I'd want to have dinner. Kyle makes a joke because, so I have to set up the joke because I found it so fascinating. So Jesse orders a very dirty martini. And then he's like, do you have blue cheese olives? And the lady's like, no. And then Kyle makes a joke and he's like, do you have American cheese olives? But no one hears him. So then he brings up American cheese again. And Paige is like, I'm famously known for loving a Kraft Singles because they make the best grilled cheeses. And then they're like, but Craig hates Kraft Singles. And I went, Craig is the human equivalent of a Kraft Single. So it's weird he hates them. And I can't explain it further than that. I can't.
I feel like you need to now describe other people as cheeses, but like that can wait.
But like I can't even explain why I think this. It was just the first thing I go, that's
Well,
crazy.
he's
hate
kind
them.
of rubbery and a little fake.
No, you don't even have
but
to
thinks
explain
he's
it.
real.
I feel like the people who get it. He's the equivalent of a craft single. You get it. So, great. Then we have the second group, which is Wes, Carl, Amanda, Lexi, Ciara, and Emerald, who gets cut out. I think we just need to keep his memory alive. Keep his memory alive. Kyle, he's not surprised. He's got sperm of the century. And Amanda's like, look, I don't care either way. And then Amanda tells us separately that she finally feels like herself. And being pregnant and then like postpartum, that's going to really fuck that up. And she just wants to be herself for like maybe a year. And then she can like revisit it.
I love that for her. Like that makes sense.
She just wants to be hot and happy.
Yeah, just let her be hot and happy for once.
So then back to the catch. Jesse and Lexi are sorted for the moment, okay? So Jesse now needs Ciara advice. And Paige immediately like, Ciara's amazing. Did you see her rip you to shreds today? That was incredible to watch. And everyone's like,
I love how they all give her the kudos of being like, no, but she nailed that delivery.
Yeah, no, fuck you. Ciara's great. Jesse does want to apologize, and Paige is like, that's great. Don't expect her to accept it, though. Because Ciara, as we know, is a slow burner. And Jesse's like, yeah, but that's what she's doing to Wes when she refuses to be his friend.
Oh, my God. When he was like, now I totally understand how Wes feels, because she's just, no.
And of all people, Kyle comes in and goes, do not compare your situation to the Ciara situation with Wes. And then he tells Jesse it's not on Ciara. Ciara's the one that felt screwed over by the two of you. So, like, you need to take the accountability of your actions.
He's back. The good friend Kyle. He knows where friendship lines are. And I'm so happy. I was so pissed at him last week for his, like, pipe down comment, but we got him back.
No, here's the thing. When he's good with Amanda, he's a bad friend. But when he's bad with Amanda, he's a good friend.
Oh.
He's mad at her right now because she didn't cheer for his sperm. So he's like, I need to put my energy towards a different woman. Yeah. Since none of it goes to Amanda. But then they all talk about how Wes has been very quiet this summer. Not just with Ciara, with everyone.
He really has. I think he is scared to step out of line. And
he's kind of a loser.
I like it.
You know? He's kind of a loser.
I like a guy who's now cautious after being beaten down so hard.
Just know you deserve to stay silent. Always
That is one man that we did train collectively as
go.
Bravo fans.
Bravo trained him perfectly. And may I say, I still have a real soft spot for him. I know it's my
I do
kryptonite.
too.
I know it's my kryptonite.
But I think you and I agree, and a lot of fans who still love him. I think if people haven't gotten there, I have, is I love him as like a character, as a funny guy, but I
think
still
I could shoot the shit with him.
Yes, but I would be wary of dating him. But I think he is a good guy overall, but I think he is, and a lot of people have this, I have this too, it's, you don't know how to navigate relationships, you do it incorrectly, like you're not a secure partner, and like that's okay to mess that up a little bit. Like we are all fumbling through lives, but I wouldn't date him.
Yeah.
So
and it was the after of it. So
we can all enjoy him as a funny guy.
Agreed. I love him.
Like we can't, put him on our shoulders again as like this champion of Bravo and of like Summer House. True. Like he just is a funny guy, and like let's leave it at that.
Truly, for the record, though, my dumbass would totally fall in love with him.
I know.
Totally fall in love with him.
The worst part is I would cheer you on.
I always need to just make sure everyone knows. I know I'm dumb, but I would totally fall in love with him.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be fully pissed at him either. You'd be like, I did it to myself. Like I knew the signs.
Well, now I know. If we didn't know, if he was just some stranger, right, and it was Wes, I would fully fall in love with him and then get screwed over and then hate him too. I get that. Yeah. I can see where Ciara's coming from.
Rightfully so.
But now, if this Wes that we know was like, hey, date me, I would be like, without question. Without question.
No.
And Meredith would be like, do it. And then when it blew up in my face, not if, when it blew up in my face, Meredith would go, you knew though.
I'd be like, it was a ride.
But I would go, I still hate him. And I would pull Lindsay and be like, I'm going to root for your downfall. Of course. Always.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
cut to the second group, and Lexi asked how Wes is doing, because we know it was the anniversary of his friend's death somehow. And Wes is like, I'm
Also, I
going
wanted to
through
be
it.
clear, like Lexi asked him. There's a lot of discourse on the internet saying like he brought this stuff up and
No.
he didn't. I don't think he ever would have talked about this unless somebody else said it.
So Lexi brought it up. Wes shares he was going through it. Lexi tries to, be a good friend, and I think she is. She says she also lost a best friend, and sometimes you really just do need to feel your emotions through it to get to the other side, because Wes really does, he harbors them.
I love how she said, like, now you have somebody, like, watching over you.
Yeah.
Like, I think the way she spoke to him about this was, like, perfect.
Lexi went to therapy probably about it because she was dealing with the emotions. I'm just going to say it was very good.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Wes doesn't like conflict and he doesn't like bad things. So he does recognize that he uses a lot of humor. He copes with that. He doesn't want to, A, doesn't want to be in bad spaces with people, but B, doesn't want to like think about bad things. I do this too. I've told all my friends, if anything ever remotely happens in my life, like if someone I care about ever passes, I will not act normal. They need to be prepared for me to make jokes or just fully cut them out. I'm not going to turn to them. That's not how I am like Wes. And I can recognize
I think it's
that.
tough. It's really hard I think if you've never done it, to start doing it and to open up. It's just scary.
So Wes does share last year his friend died. It was the night of Danielle's launch party. And then he went back to Ciara's and he like cried in her bed for 2 hours. And there are moments Wes can own his vulnerability, but like it's obviously hard when you're talking about it on a TV screen for everyone to then give their opinions on. And then this is when Ciara gets up and leaves the table, which listen, they kept cutting from like Wes to Ciara during this whole conversation, and you could see how uncomfortable Ciara was. And I was like, I want to like almost grab her from that. So I do think it was okay that she stood up and like excused herself from this. And I think
she did it at the right time. People are like upset with her on the internet saying this was rude. He finished what he was saying. Like he talked a little bit then after she got up, but he was finished with the bulk of what he was saying. Mm-hmm. She clearly waited till he was done and respectfully got up and just walked away.
And I think this is fine because it does. I think I deal with a lot of my emotions like Ciara as well, where I'm not going to show my hurt. I'm just going to be angry or I'm going to ignore you, right? But a part of me is still hurt, right? We had something very special. We had something very beautiful that I cherished a lot.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, you kind of, you broke up with it, fine, but then you ruined any friendship that could have been there after. So you've also hurt me. And then we're sitting here and we're talking about how like last summer, I was the one that was there for you. You showed me your vulnerability. Like that probably brought us closer together. I then listened to you talk about this and I need a moment after that. Like I need to get my head straight.
And I actually find it respectful of her for walking away and having her own emotions, because I think she can see her emotions about this and this situation is minute compared to like his grief. And like, it doesn't need to be a conversation that they need to have, because why make him feel bad for like their loss of friendship when he's dealing with like something so different. And so she just needs to step away, take a beat out of it, regroup herself and be able to come back and sit down with this guy that she was friends with, and it clearly still holds a lot of emotions about all of this stuff. Like him saying that story like brings up her own closeness with him, and that's hard to deal with when you're trying to distance yourself from someone who meant so much to you.
I'm surprised people were mad about this because I feel like even Wes knew the reason she got up. He didn't seem mad either.
Oh my God, no. Like again, it was so respectful how she did it and like when the opportunity she took.
And this is where I mean like Wes I think is at his core a good person. Like I think he recognized that this is hard on both, right? Because Wes did also lose a friend. We can acknowledge that he was very close to Ciara, obviously trusted her, was able to like share this very vulnerable moment. And the fact that they're not friends anymore, obviously as creepy as he's being about it, it does hurt him because he wants it. And so I think he can also acknowledge like this is uncomfortable for both of us. She's obviously hurt. She needs to walk away. And like I think it was also good for Wes. He probably needs a beat too.
On the flip side, people are saying him saying that stuff like about telling her after Danielle's event was like manipulative. And I'm like, that is
No,
again not what's happening.
I
Like
don't think so.
he's finally opening up about something because
Yeah.
someone asked, and he felt like he did have a small group to discuss this with. Like when it's clearly been asked, he I guess posted something on his story on Thursday about it. So like now everybody knows, like he's just telling the story of what happened last year
Hmm.
and like how painful this was and how he doesn't talk about it. But this is like where he opened up instead. It was not to get Ciara to like feel bad for him or
Yeah.
anything, but it does when you do talk about your emotions, and especially emotions somebody else was witness to, a very private personal moment, that'll bring him up for her too. But what is he supposed to do? Never talk about this? That's
Yeah.
not fair to him.
No, I agree with you. I think I
I think
really liked the
everybody
way this
did
went down.
everything perfectly.
If
Yeah.
anything, this made my heart hurt for the friendship we had and we lost. Like I mourned it
Yeah.
with them. Yeah. Weird.
Absolutely. But like Ciara isn't like gonna escape any emotional discussions because she doesn't want to be friends with this guy. Like they're living in a house together. And this is what happens when you choose to have people in your life that like sometimes you normally would cut out of your life.
I even made a note and I was like, I hope these two have another conversation, like just them separately. Like it would almost just be nice to be like, hey, I saw you get up. I just want to make sure like you were okay. I didn't mean to like
Yeah,
I hope
that
we're
would be
okay.
nice.
And I would want Ciara then to be like, in my ideal head, I'm writing a book about it, I guess. But then Ciara would be like, no, it was just hard that like I was the person there for you and like we've lost this close knit. Like I thought that would have been like obviously that's like the perfect ending, but it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. But I
It
said,
kind
I
of
was like, I want it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of Lindsay and Carl's conversation when Carl's brother, like the anniversary of his brother passing, when Lindsay like
Yes.
acknowledged that. It's kind of like that similar moment.
Yeah.
And maybe like Ciara and Wes need like a little bit more time. And like next year on the anniversary, it can kind of be like
Yes.
that.
Would love.
Yeah.
But Ciara does come back to Ciara comes back to the table. Ciara says like to us, obviously not to the table, that Wes really did feel like her friend last summer. So it's hard to be reminded that they were so close and like where they are now. And Wes is able to just like brush things under the rug and move on, but she's unable to do that. And the hard part is her heart is telling her to just like brush it under the rug and move on. But her head is the one that's like, no, don't let him back in. He's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Which
And
I
it's
think
really
it's hard.
because they live in it and when
Yeah.
it actually happened, and then she had to live in it all while the season was airing.
Yeah.
And then when she came back, she had to relive it and like dig it all up when all those articles were coming out. And so this is like the first time, we said this at the start of this season, the first time that she kind of gets to not be in it, but then you get to
Yeah.
like you go live with this person. So it's a never ending emotional assault. And that's what she
Yeah.
signs up for, but that doesn't make the feelings any easier to swallow down.
Yeah, for me, the hardest part would be that if I was Ciara, I felt like, okay, we had moved on from it. And then you re-bring it up in the article before we get
Mhm.
here. So it was almost like I thought we could be friends. And this is why my head is telling you not to let me do that again with you because you already hurt me.
Yeah,
You
that's so
already
true.
screwed me
Like
once.
the breakup hurt, and then like he was doing podcasts while the show is
Then it was
airing and
the
having to watch all
reunion.
that, and then the reunion, and then
But
the
then
New
we
York
had
Times
squashed it.
article.
We had squashed it at the reunion, and Ciara probably said we could build a friendship this summer when we're back. And then you get out of your trader's house in Scotland, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, he just won't let it die. So then
Like,
your
I
head
can't
is like,
trust you.
what is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Shame on
Not going
me.
to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. So I think, unfortunately for Wes, I think he broke Ciara's trust one too many times. So like,
I agree.
that's why she can't. Anyway, we
Yeah.
all get home. I would like to say the house lets in a fly, and it was bugging the shit on me. I saw it fly
Oh my
right
God.
in. I was like, oh
No.
my God, close the door. Anyway, Paige burns herself. She grabbed her hot curling iron.
It was Ciara's. Ciara left it on.
Yeah. But why are you grabbing the hot part of the curling iron?
Because if you think it's unplugged, like you're just
I
gonna
don't
grab
know.
it and like do the thing.
I would
Oh,
probably
that's
grab
the
Yeah,
worst.
we've all been
I
there,
agree.
though.
Listen,
We've all been
once you do it a few too many times, you will never grab the hot
I think
part.
that's
Like,
it. I've burned myself so many times that I will never. I repeatedly will always, even if I know it's off, like it's unplugged, I'll just feel a top and be like, is it hot?
I know.
But yeah, that's rough. So it's time for bed. Oh, everyone's home, by the way, whatever. It's time for bed. Lexi and Jesse kiss, and it's super gross. And then at 2:21 a.m., Jesse gets turned on so hard he sneezes.
I didn't even know that. Bravo.
My favorite. I didn't even realize Kyle was drunk, but drunk Kyle finds a box of muffins.
Okay, I'm like, was Emerald there? Did Emerald and Kyle go out? Like, none of this is making sense.
When did he get drunk?
I think the boys had to have gone out, minus Jesse. I think West and Kyle and Emerald went out because we cut to West and Kyle talking, and West is like, all right, it's really time to go to bed. Like, good night, Kyle. And then Kyle stumbles to the kitchen. Like, that is like what happens on a night out.
No, you're so right, because Lexi had asked Jesse, like, are you going out? And he's like, no. And she's like, okay, I'll change in my pajamas then. But then all of a sudden it's 2 a.m. and I went, what? Who's awake still? I thought we went to bed hours ago. And then Kyle's smashed eating a muffin with a fork and knife.
I know.
I was like, what happened? No, you're so right.
It's them determined to cut Emerald out. They're so determined. That's
so weird, because I love a night out. So weird.
I know, because I don't think, you just said like, oh, everybody's home. I don't think West, Emerald, and Kyle came home with everybody else. I think they came home at like a different time.
Oh, boo. Absolute boo. Truly. Boo to Bravo. Anyway, I was very confused, but I was like, I'll watch Drunk Kyle eat anything, as you know.
Yeah. No. I was also confused.
When he took it with a fork and knife, I was absolutely cracking up. I was like, that's amazing.
Well, I didn't realize he was drunk at first, because he was like, who eats muffins? And then I was like, oh yeah.
When he shook the muffins, I was like, this man's hammered. When did this happen?
I know. I was like, wait a minute. You're grabbing one out? Oh, you're drunk eating. I just thought he was standing there like not really ready to go to bed, a little restless. No, that man's drunk.
No. So it's Saturday, August 24th, 9:31 a.m. We see Paige with her hand on something, and I'm like, is that bread? No.
I thought it was a book.
I saw the nutrition label, and I was like, is it bread? It's even gross. This is so crazy. Her hand hurt because she burnt it. So she went down to the kitchen when drunk Kyle was there at 2 a.m. and she grabbed the cold raw chicken of all things. She grabbed the chicken. Okay.
I was so confused when this was going down, because I thought it was a book at first. And then when she says she went to the basement, they first said she grabbed a tequila bottle. That is not cold enough. No. It doesn't freeze. So, and then she went for chicken. I will say it is less gross than I thought, because I thought it was one of those styrofoam packs and then it just saran wrapped. This is like sealed, thank God. But now still gross. Why are we grabbing it?
Grab the peas or whatever. Literally.
There has to be an ice pack in there. Like,
grab
you guys
the
go
pizza
to the beach
rolls.
All the
grab the pizza
anything.
Rolls. The raw chicken.
I would say go chicken over pizza rolls. Like, we are more likely to eat the pizza rolls.
I don't want to wake up next. I'm freaked out by raw chicken.
I agree.
It's truly my least favorite thing to cook.
It's the fact that it fully defrosted and like now it's raw.
It's warm
and
chicken. It's warm. You slept next to warm raw chicken, and that freaks me out.
That is what freaks me out. Because if she would have just gone down there and like put her hand on it and like held it for a little bit, not weird.
Fine.
Not weird at all, because it's fully frozen the entire time.
You fell asleep next to it. It's kind of crazy. And now you can't eat this chicken, obviously. But there has to be something else in that freezer that you could have grabbed. I don't know.
You could have made a bag of ice. There's no way this house has no ice.
You could have made a bag of ice. You could have. It was weird. Anyway, so this whole week, so the bed girls get together. So it's Paige, Amanda, Ciara. And this whole week, Amanda was having like basically anxiety without the hang part, that Paige and Ciara were mad at her for no reason. You know, when you're hungover, you think everyone hates you. Amanda was having that.
This happens to me sometimes when all my friends are busy. I'm like, they hate me. And then I have to remember that their whole schedules don't revolve around my life.
No,
they can go do things.
If all my friends are busy, I go, they're probably hanging out without me and they don't want to tell me.
Yep. I will check their locations
all together. Sometimes. And I'm like, this is the worst. No.
Yes.
But then Amanda asked Ciara about last night, how she got up from the table. Is she okay? And Ciara says she just needed to let West have his feelings and she needed to
Mhm.
separate from that. And Ciara shares she doesn't know if she'll ever be friends with West again. They'll probably never be close, but we'll see. I was like, that's
Which
fair.
makes sense to me.
So we're having a pool day today. Wes even offers to grab Ciara a drink by the pool. And she turns to
This
the girls.
man.
She's like, when did he turn out to be nice? And Amanda's like, dude, he's been trying all summer. You just don't want to acknowledge it.
That is so funny.
That's
That
so
is
good.
so funny.
You're right. And she shouldn't have to. So the boys, well, not the boys. I guess it's like Jesse, Kyle, and Carl, and then Paige. They all talk.
No, Carl's not there. It's West.
Oh, it's Wes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who knows where Carl is? Who cares?
No, because I was watching West's face that entire conversation because this is where I'm
No,
like,
you're
damn
right.
it, I'm always on West's side. I think he's
It was
hilarious.
Wes. But we talk about if things are actually squished with Lexi. And Jesse's like, look, I thought I was in trouble. And then one day Lexi called and was like, the ball's in your court. Are you over it?
Okay, I don't know if I trust this man.
I'm suspicious.
Because the way he said it, he's like, she was ignoring me. I'm like, yeah, no, that checks out. But then one day she calls him up and is like, oh, are you going to want to get back together with me?
Are we boyfriend,
don't believe,
girlfriend? Yeah, what?
I do believe she took him back, but there is no way that girl was like, it's your choice if we're back together.
It didn't go like that.
She has more self-respect than that.
I'm sure they had hours of conversation and then they were talking one day and Lexi said, look, I am open to getting back together. Would you like to? And then Jesse was like, sure. But the ball wasn't in his court.
I am okay, or like I would want to get back together if you can do X, Y, Z. So the ball's in your court to do those things and act this way.
No.
Like,
what? After 3 days of ignoring you, she's like, so...
will you take me back?
What do you want to do? The fuck? There's no way.
This man does not know what's actually going on in real life. I'm so concerned.
No, he needs help. And then he shares how he had to talk to Lexi's family about this. And that's where I went, I believe that. That's weird. That my family will never know I'm dating anyone ever.
But this was another point where I'm like, Jesse, do you want to be in a relationship with someone where if you have a fight, you have to like talk it out with her family?
See, he's talking shit like he's not okay with it, like he didn't do it, and then get back together with her.
Yeah.
Right? He's still talking. Yeah, this is weird.
He's still talking shit.
Here's the thing.
He's still talking shit.
This is fucking weird. 100%. I'm freaked out by this. But you did it, and then you still got back together with her. So you have to like make this. This isn't that weird to you, then, right? You did it. And you're still bringing it up to your friends though. Like, can you fucking believe I had to do this shit?
It's the way he talks about it. It's not that because then he later goes like, oh, I'm just reporting facts. Like, I hate when people do that. Like, there is a way to talk about things and give your friends the information and updates about your life without talking shit about your partner. He could have very easily said like, Lexi and I decided to be back together. Like, I obviously like her mom and
she had told her family about it.
I like really like wanted to talk to her family or like whatever, like I made sure to also clear the air with her family because they're so important to her. You could have easily made this not weird. I still think that situation is weird, but he's also making it weird. Like we as viewers could have just heard that he talked to them and it wouldn't be that weird.
You know what you said that was interesting? Lexi could have said something like, we maybe can't get back together because I already cried about you to my mom and sister. Now they hate you. And Jesse could have said, let me talk to your family. Let me apologize.
We don't know what's happening because I don't trust what Jesse says.
His narrative's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I do believe like her family really would have wanted to talk to him. I do believe they talk. But like, I think them wanting to be so involved is weird from their side. But I also think he's making this sound worse because he cannot help himself from shit talking.
No, truly. But then Wes is like, let's clear something up. You also grinded on her in front of her mom.
Which is...
For 2 hours. For 2 hours! Ooh, yuck. Oh, I can't stop. This is so weird. And Paige thinks it's weird too. She's like, I've been dating Craig for 3 years and I will not touch him in front of my dad. We don't kiss.
Rightfully so.
We don't even know each other in front of my parents.
Yeah.
That's me. Listen, you're sitting on the one end of the table. I am the furthest spot from you if possible. We won't sit next to each other on the couch. There's 3. Leave room for Jesus, you know, like in front of my parents. There's a person in between us.
In my family, like my sister having 4 kids, all immaculate conception. Like
truly, they never hooked up.
I think I've only seen them kiss on their wedding day, and that was jarring enough.
And that's do you sometimes, this is a side note, sometimes when I'm at a wedding, I think, isn't it crazy that your grandparents are watching you kiss?
Oh, I thought you were going to say think about
grandparents.
If you've seen your friends kiss. Some of my friends, I'm like, they aren't PDA, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I get to the wedding day, and I'm like, have I ever seen this couple kiss?
All I think about is like, oh, your parents are watching you kiss right now. On my wedding day,
an entire congregation is watching you kiss. Everybody's just staring at you. That's so stressful.
We all are just judging your kiss. And then if you have the audacity to open mouth kiss, it's a peck.
That's the thing.
It's a peck on your wedding.
If you're going to grind on your significant other at a club in front of your parents, you best believe you're probably making out with them. Like, I just don't, I don't trust you. I don't trust either of these people because they're both doing it.
It's just a 6th grade grind line. They actually don't kiss. They're just rubbing. Crazy.
Weirder,
Crazy. In fact. Remind me not to invite my parents to my wedding day because I don't want them to see me kiss. Now that we've talked about it. Yeah,
they're actually off the guest list.
Then they have to watch me do a dance, and then I'm going to be playing 2000s rap music. What are we going to do then? I want to grind. My parents have to go to bed. I'm not having all right, I'm never getting married. I can't get married. I have to go to therapy before I get married.
All because Alicia can't kiss her significant other in front of her parents.
My parents. Paige is on the same wavelength. She's
I agree.
And
it's crazy. But Jesse's making it seem like, oh, this is just Lexi. You're participating. You are participating in this.
It honestly would be weirder for me to like kiss in front of my significant other's parents than my own. I could talk my parents off the ledge, but your parents?
That's the thing.
Because then
he's like, oh, I would never do that in front of mine. Then don't do it in front of hers. Don't do it in front of hers.
Yeah, and he's like, Lexi's mom is out with us. She stayed out later than me and Wes. They went to some club. I don't even remember. But I was like, listen, what Lexi's mom wants to do, great. It doesn't matter if she's out with you for 3 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours. We're not touching.
Also, once she's out for 1 hour, go out, my girl. Like, be out till the sun comes up. Yeah. Like, I'm not mom shaming over here. No. I don't care if a mom comes to a club. Like, she's already there. Why is she going to go home early?
But here's the thing. As long as she's out and we're out with her, we're not going to grind.
Our lips aren't touching. Nothing is touching.
Our lips are sealed. Absolutely.
Like, I'm not even holding your hand.
No, we're on opposite sides of the table. I'm making sure your mother's okay. See, that's the thing. That's the weirdest part. If it was my mom, maybe I could be like, just hold my hand, you weirdo. But if it's someone else's mom and he's like, kiss me, I'd be like, I would rather die.
I know.
No.
Also, notice how it goes from, like, Jesse's shit talking slowly eases in more and more. He goes from, I had to, like, talk and apologize to her mom and sister to, I grinded in front of her mom to her mom stays out later than me. Like, can you believe that? Like, it's not just, like, judgment on his relationship, but then he, like, starts to shit talk her family and being, like, judgy about her mom being out later than him.
Isn't it kind of funny how, Jesse wanted the audience to, like, judge Lexi and her family, but in the end, I judge him the most because it's not even his family he's grinding in front of, and that's the craziest part. Great. So, Jesse's basically sitting here continuing to shit talk Lexi and her family. I get it's weird. I'm in the camp, but he's also guilty of the weirdness.
But, like, talk about it with West in your bedroom. If it's going to be on camera, like, talk to your buddy about it. Like, he keeps one-upping it. People aren't asking questions anymore. He keeps tacking on more and more info.
And you don't think Paige is going to talk about this? Come on.
Paige is shook.
Grow up.
Her and West, I was dying at their facial reactions because they were just gagged at the whole thing that any of this happened.
No.
That Jesse's talking about it. Like, they are just mind boggled by this man.
Paige cannot compute. She's going to take the rest of the day and think about this and then relay it to her friends next weekend because she needs a moment to figure out what's the weirdest part of the story.
Yes.
We don't know. So it's 2:41 p.m. We gotta get ready for our beach dinner we're doing tonight. Gabby finally gets here. Lexi goes to Jesse and Wes' room. And first she's like, Jesse didn't even notice I was here. And then he's like, hey, hot stuff. And they start like hugging and touching and maybe kissing. And Wes looks dead at the camera. A full Jim Halpert from The Office moment. Looks right at the camera and points. And he's like, this is not normal. This is weird, right? Yes. And then he says in his interview, which you pulled this quote, he's like, I love that the two of them are insane in a way because it makes me look less insane, honestly.
Well, I think he has to rationalize it because he has to be around it like the most out of this group outside of Lexi's family.
Let me tell you.
But you just got to be like, they're fucking crazy. I guess I'm in for the ride here.
This was The Office is one of my favorite TV shows. I loved the deadpan look and the point. And he held his eye contact with the camera and then went back to doing whatever he was doing.
Listen,
it was beautiful.
There are reasons you need to break the fourth wall, and this was a perfect reason. Like, talk to us, my guy, because we're in it with you. Yeah. If you've ever watched The Office, Jim Halpert is his way. He's the way the audience connects through. That is Wes in this moment. And I fell in love with Wes some more. I want to date him. It's so crazy. Anyway. It's so bad because I love him.
Anyway. Okay. So Lexi, Gabby, and Lindsay head to the beach. Gabby's in full heels, by the way. Which, that's crazy. You're on sand, girl.
God.
Anyway, Jesse, Amanda, and Paige have a quick little chat. Jesse is feeling really good about Lexi. He just needs to feel good about Ciara now. And Amanda's like, having two girlfriends is tough, isn't it? And they're like, whoop. Ha ha ha.
He doesn't even correct it. He's not like, no, I don't. Stop saying that.
Well, Amanda's like, can I give you advice? And Jesse's like, sure. And Amanda goes, listen, no jokes. No jokes.
Yeah. Cut him out.
Jesse says he is sorry for what he said to her about, like, what if he had met her before Wes? But he was just joking. And Amanda's like, but you weren't because you said the same thing to Craig and I. And Paige is like, no, literally, Craig thought you two were going to hook up that night. And Jesse's like, I didn't say that to you guys. And Amanda's like, no,
roll the clip.
You did. So we see the clip. And Amanda's like, look, you need to have a transparent conversation with Ciara. And here's a little another tip for you. Ciara doesn't like when people just sit there and take it. So be proactive and actually respond back, right? So we head to the beach. It's a great beach day. You know why? No one wore shoulder pads to the beach.
I died at that reference.
Up.
See, Lindsay can take a joke. Like,
Lindsay's awesome.
She's clearly over it. She's not hung up on you, Carl. Like, that's funny.
And then we see the pic of them or the video of them. I was like, don't show me the full engagement.
No,
my heart, I can't take it.
That's too soon, Bravo.
Terrible.
Like, you're not in on the joke. Leave us alone.
So it's just the three girls right now. And that's when Gabby's like, oh, Ciara said Carl hooked up with, Lindsay tells the girls, she's like, Ciara said Carl hooked up with someone, which we see the clip. And Lindsay says she doesn't believe it, which is honestly the funniest. This is the best diss. Remember to keep this in my back pocket for the next time an ex pisses me off and he's like, I just fucked a bunch of girls. I'm just going to go, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I am also happy because when we got this in the preview, I thought she was saying this to the whole table and like going to embarrass him with this. And I was like, okay, that's a little too far. Like, just, it's not worth that. But this, when you're just chatting with your girls, this is so acceptable. Funny. I'm back on Lindsay's side.
This was so funny. And then to make it funnier, Lindsay goes, he didn't even hook up with me and we were engaged.
I mean, very true. Very true.
The way I screamed, the way I went, she's right. She's correct.
But the problem is, I believe that he was a little horny just because it's summer and he's seen so many tan lines that, like, that guy.
Yuck. Anyway, look, either way, whether it's true or not, I don't care because this was so funny that, like, It doesn't matter to me. I was cracking up. I was like, I kind of hope he didn't. I don't even know. So the rest of the group is here. The boys all get together in a little circle, literally 10 inches from the table.
I was like, wow, we're really like separating the groups here.
And Kyle goes, I don't know why my wife, after all these years, doesn't celebrate my sperm more. And Amanda's like, I can hear you. And Kyle's like, let's move the chairs. Like, he didn't already just say it to the whole table.
Oh, my God.
And Amanda's like, no, say it to my face. So she goes over there and she's like, look, I'm thrilled about your sperm. It's so great that you have so much sperm. I couldn't be happier that your sperm is A+. But also, we're not having a kid right now.
Yeah. Like, why do you need to be, woo!
So then Paige tells the table, the girls, and she's like, Kyle is just like Craig, where they need to be celebrated all the time. And I was like, cracked the code. Men are so
because
annoying.
They are. Like,
no, men
they
are so
typically
annoying.
get rewarded for any level of effort, anything they do, if you think about it. Like, just look at moms versus dads. Like, a dad, like feeds his kid, makes his kid dinner, and it's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Whereas like,
so
that's the baseline. Yeah.
A mom is literally like late to school because she had to make 12 lunches, and then she also has a full-time job, but the dad left early, and the school is like, oh, it's a shame that you can't handle your motherly responsibilities.
Yep, you're not involved enough, or like you're not showing up to what we need you to.
I will say, I love my friends who are in relationships and get married, and the women are like, well, I'm the breadwinner, so he has to figure out the children. And I'm like, that's amazing.
That's how it was in my household growing up. Like, my mom's the breadwinner, and she was like, I'm not doing 99% of these responsibilities. Everything we will split in half. To be honest, my dad did more child responsibilities than my mom. And so like, that's expected now in my mind. Like, that's how I grew up. Like,
she's bringing home the bread.
Yeah.
He loves his life. Step up, my guy. Sorry,
well, you
Chris.
wanted this
you
life.
Might be listening.
My God, no! He should have, and
hell
he
yeah,
should. He should do more.
Yeah. Anyway, seafood dinner is served, but then I'd be pissed if this happened when the food came, like as soon as it came out. Jesse's like, "Hey,
okay,
Ciara,
I was so confused because they put the food down, and then it felt like they never ate.
The food wasn't there when Jesse was like, "Hey, Ciara, can I talk to you alone?" And everyone goes, "Ooh!" And I was like, "That's awesome. Do that more." So she really makes him work for it. She's like, where do you want to go? And he's like, we can go over there.
It's like, you want to talk to me, like plan this out, be like, all right, I'm grabbing chairs, let's go talk over here. Like, he can't do anything.
No. She's like, where are we going? And he's like, over there. And she goes, on the ground. Everyone's like, you better get chairs. All the while, so they go. And then Kyle has to change his shorts for some reason. So
I was so confused about this.
He gets pegged by Wes. It was the weirdest. I will not explain further how the pegging happened. You just have to go watch it, honestly.
I thought it was so funny when it was happening, but then it ended and I was like, wait, why did we do that?
What was that? I didn't even know how to take notes on it. I was like, how do I explain? Anyway.
Just go watch it yourself.
Just go watch it. So Jesse and Ciara talk. He apologizes for his comment, but it was a joke, Sorry about my joke.
I'm so tired of hearing about that.
And Ciara says she doesn't need him to feel bad for her. And also, Ciara doesn't even like friendships like this. So she did question everything else Jesse has been saying and doing, including the don't touch me comment.
Yep. If everything's a joke, why would I believe anything you say?
Well, that's when Jesse's like, that was also a joke. And Ciara goes, usually when it's a joke, people laugh, and neither of us laughed. And
I was gagged.
That's what we said, though.
I was like,
it's not a joke.
So
it's not funny. Yeah, it's not funny. So Jesse says... then Ciara says that Jesse's the one playing two sides. And Jesse's like, I'm not playing two sides. I'm just exploring a new relationship. What should I have done? Come to you as a friend and been honest? And Ciara's like, yes.
The entire thing you said, yes. And she even gave him an out. She was like, you could have texted me. It's not like you needed to be direct with me and sit me down and have this whole conversation. Like, you just had to say it to me in some form.
That sent me when he was like, what should I have done? Been honest with you as a friend? And she goes, yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, fine. I should have been honest with you as a friend.
Oh,
and she's like,
wow. I had to do that? You mean that one minute thing? Yeah.
But then Ciara goes, you know what? It really doesn't matter. You function however you want to function, because I'm over it. I'm over you, and I have 1 week left to care, and then I'm done with the summer. And I went, yo.
When she said I only have like 1 more week to deal with this, I was like, that would cut me to my core if I was friends with someone and they were like, I only have to deal with you for 1 more week. Thank God.
Jesse's never going to recover.
No.
Jesse, this is your death.
And he shouldn't.
Take it, wave the white
That's
flag.
the thing. You thought like things with Wes were bad. Wes just hurt her on like a relationship level, and like the friendship faltered because of it.
Yeah.
But like Ciara can still see him as like a human. You fucked Ciara over in a friendship way, which I sometimes think is even more intimate because you don't expect to like have friendship breakups. Sometimes you like see those romantic relationships and you're like, this probably most likely won't work out. Like you're only going to end up with one romantic relationship for most of us. That your friends, you don't expect that. Like that hurts sometimes way deeper because you're so caught off guard by it.
Yeah. This was crazy. This was savage. I love Ciara. She really ended his life right here. It was amazing. Anyway,
I can't believe they're still friends, to be honest. It's kind of pissing me off.
I can't. That's the worst part about this is I know that she doesn't hate him. And I just wish.
I just hope she demoted him and where she sees him in her life and like has put up walls and just like has barriers with him.
I think on Watch What Happens Live, she did say that she sees him, like, he's fun to party with. She didn't actually say, like, we're friends. She was just like, I see him and he can party. Which I think is a huge insult for someone to just be like, you're fun to go out with and then nothing. And I'm like, ooh.
If you've been, like, close friends with them and then get demoted to that, yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. Anyway, so next time, it is the anniversary of Carl and Lindsay's breakup, which is brought up at the dinner table.
Why is this memorialized?
God. When I saw that, I went, why couldn't you have put that in this episode? I have never wanted to see anything more because I don't know how we get here. I don't know how we're going to react. I don't know what to do. Lindsay has been very funny though. And so I'm so excited for her to be like, cheers to our 1 year of the breakup. And Carl does not know what to do. Oh.
That dinner is going to be the entire episode because we have like Lexi yelling at Ciara.
Yes, so Lexi and Jesse have more issues, and then Jesse says some shit that causes Ciara and Lexi to fight. So this dinner is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
It's going to be a 24-hour episode, but this time it's worth it because like this is worthy of one episode. A giant drag out knockdown dinner where 2, 3, 4, 5 people are fighting. I'm in.
Oh, what I would give to be Wes or Paige in this situation where I just go, I don't know. I'll sit here.
Wes is like, oh my God, I have nothing going on. I'm just going to sit quietly because I cannot get any wrath from anybody.
Literally,
to me.
Someone looks at him and is like, Jesse's like, help me out. And Wes is like, no. Nope.
Wes is like, if I don't move, they can't see me.
Truly, he's Gabby going to get the wine in that one fight, or Lexi or whoever got up to get the wine, and he stays in the kitchen. He melts down behind the island, and he's just going to listen.
Yeah.
He's like the adult. What I would give to be Emerald in this situation. Not even on camera. I just fully enjoy myself. Gimme.
I wonder if he'll be back next weekend.
I bet it's the same weekend or whatever. Who knows? It could be tonight. We have no idea. No concept of time. Anyway, because we have 2 episodes, so like next episode we're going to have one full dinner, maybe Friday night, and then we end the summer Saturday, Sunday. Who knows?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do? No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to cut it off right in the middle of the fight. That's what they're going to do. Oh,
you're right. It's going to the episode's going to pick up in this fight. Then they're all going to go home on Sunday, which is going to just be the first 5 minutes of the episode. Yeah. They're going to come back because it seems like Lexi and Jesse have that conversation when it's still a little bit light out. And so I think they have that conversation. Jesse talks to everybody in the bedroom and then the fight at dinner happens. Yes. Both fights. Like Carl, well, it's not really a fight between Carl and Lindsay at this point, but conversation.
Yeah. But I think right in the middle of the fight, they're going to end it. And then we got to wait for the second part, of course. Fuck you, Agreed. Bravo. Fun, not fun, Meredith. Who is your not fun?
It's still Jesse.
Times 2, baby. Times 2. Times it by 2.
Sir, you didn't even take a week off from shit talking her. Like you just made up with her.
Oh, it was terrible. I'm like scared for the people that are friends, like longtime friends with you.
Well, what's annoying is, in that post that I mentioned earlier in this episode about Lindsay saying like the 1, 2, 3s about like why she's not still interested in Carl or like still like hung up on it. Lindsay said she didn't know that conversation happened. So they didn't watch these episodes. I always thought that they got all the episodes
I
to
thought
then
so
watch and
too.
prepare for the reunion. But Lindsay's like, maybe they did and Lindsay didn't watch them. But I'm worried that they didn't get all the episodes and like Lexi doesn't know truly what's been said about her.
No, how dumb.
I know.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, maybe it was just Lindsay, but like Lindsay said she had not seen that conversation. And I think Lindsay would watch all of this season.
Yeah, she comes prepared. She knows how this works. She's a fan of Bravo. She would want to know the gossip too.
Yeah.
Shrug. Yeah, ×2 for Jesse. Anyway, who is your fun? I have a fun, but I have a feeling it's your fun.
You go first.
My fun's Ciara, dude. I know. Fun She obliterated half this house, and I had fun watching it. And I hope she has her bisexual awakening. I would love to see Ciara either with an athlete, male or female, or like a not a CrossFit gym bro, like not an asshole gym bro. You know how some gym bros are like very like they used to be made fun of, so then they start going to the gym, so they're like very kind. Also, there's like 2 types of gym bros. I want her with one of those gym bros. Again, guy or girl. I think it could be fun. Actually, Ciara, since you're in New York, I think you should date a New York Liberty basketball player. I would eat that up. I would eat it up. Write a book about it.
This is you just also in your.
I'm reading a sports romance right now.
We're also basically writing a whole TV show.
A sports romance.
Go listen to Also for more of that.
We were going to add
you're
on
also
this
just
week.
You're a little biased.
I'm biased. But no, I think like listen, Ciara she is savior to women at this point. Keep obliterating these men. It's fun. It's so fun to watch.
Amen. Right, well, in that regard, I'm sorry because I knew you were going to pick Ciara, so I'm going a different direction. I'm going with West. My God, he's so funny.
My guy's so good. I love him. I'm such a crush.
Oh, he's making the like Jesse Lexi stuff tolerable because it's like I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry you went through that, but like that's entertaining.
That's look into the camera was next level hilarious. That was that's up there with like Bravo, fucking Bravo. That was so good, dude. It was so good. Okay, we have some thoughts to go over on the episode from our Patreon. So Megan D said, would love a video of the Lindsay and Paige car combo, which we talked about. Lexi and Jesse walking into the house together was so awkward. I just want to know how awkward the car ride was. Jesse grinding on Lexi in front of her mom is a major ick. Yeah. Amanda is right. She can't say don't give chances, but they have gotten to the point where after last weekend, why would she give him another chance? I think why not have him work for it at least a week, before giving him another chance.
Kyle and Amanda didn't. The house got involved because they were friends with them, but like the house wasn't truly involved.
Lindsay told Amanda that Kyle cheated.
Yes, but like it wasn't because like Kyle was shit talking Amanda to the whole house, and then the house had to like go to like. It also is different when the person wants to give them another chance because they just hurt them. Like Jesse's making this a whole thing for everybody else, and now we got to keep doing this. Like, set us free, please.
No, truly. Nice of Carl to check in. Kyle was adorable in his set. Oh yeah, Kyle wore a great set. Even Paige really loved it. Again, where is Gabby and Emerald? Well, Emerald was there. He didn't get the money.
Womp womp.
Wes's excitement of getting the leftovers from Ciara's drink. Carl's really taking a risk with his business. Ciara and Lexi together was amazing. Yes, set all the boundaries. Also, yes, Jesse is punching hard above his weight. No, actually, this man is so terrible. Anyway, Amanda being real and talking about all the issues of having a child. I love it. Jesse, you don't know why Ciara is mad at you, really, because she has told you why she's mad at you when you don't listen. No, truly. Yep. Kyle standing up for Ciara like a real sister would. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reference.
A real sister would.
A real sister would. Okay, Megan goes on and says Ciara wanted to go over there and hold Wes when he was talking about his friend. And you could see in her face that she still kind of cares about him. Totally agree. Can someone explain to me why we're mad at Ciara? Like, I know you explained it to me, but I need someone who believes it to explain it to me. You know?
Yes. Like, why are you so upset with either of them?
Yeah. Also, Ciara with the Nissan commercial. What? Did I miss?
I did see that. Yeah. I think it just came out today. Ciara has a sponsorship with Nissan.
Good for
Get it, girl.
Mm-hmm. The door being fixed is crazy. Wes letting his friend know how weird his relationship is. Finally, he didn't actually say it. He's just kind of
not clear as day. He's just kind of like, stop bringing me to these weird events.
Truly. Jesse and Ciara having the conversation was needed. I don't know how they got over this to being friendly again is beyond me. No, I need to see how this happens. And we have 1 weekend left. But don't worry, Megan, we have 2 episodes left. So she says she can't wait for the season to end. I'm good on it. We can end it right here, right now if we want. Anyway.
I agree.
Lindsay says
I'm looking forward to the confrontation though. Like, finally, let's get to this.
Yeah. Lindsay says, Jesse has learned nothing. He made Lexi look crazy again when he said that she gave him lists and lists of stuff of why he's the worst, but then she answered the phone and asked if they were getting back together or not. I think she realized he doesn't understand when I tell him what's wrong, so I'll write it down. When he called, she probably was like, did you read it? And do you understand? And if so, do you want to try and date again? And this man could not stop spinning things to make her look more nuts. No, actually, that's a good example. We've thought of 3 different ways this conversation could have went. The house needs to start being like, Jesse, exactly how did the conversation go?
That's the thing. Just give me your phone. Like, give me your phone so I can read exactly what happened, because you have no clue what's going on, my guy.
Immediately, if Lindsay from the Patreon, you and I were listening to Jesse tell this story, we would have stopped him and been like, that makes no sense. How did you get there? Like, in real time, we wouldn't have just listened and been like, that's crazy. I would have been like,
the thing is, again, we as the audience have the many examples of him not taking conversations.
You're
like,
right.
Paige doesn't know that this man doesn't know what's going on.
You're right.
So, like, I think it often looks like Paige and Ciara and Amanda are not girls because they're believing him. But, like,
no, you're right.
Why wouldn't you believe your friend until proven otherwise?
You're totally right. You're right. I'm not giving grace.
And I'm not even mad at, like, Lexi next week for believing Jesse over, like, Ciara, because, like, she doesn't know Ciara. Like, you're going to believe the person you know the most.
No, you're right.
Unless, proven otherwise.
You're right. Okay, and then Lindsay says, Wes is funny with his little excitement that he got over Ciara's leftover drink. And the way he looked into the camera when Lexi and Jesse were kissing, and when he said he liked how insane they were because it makes him feel less crazy. He's sucking me in more and more with story about his friend passing and how he cried to Ciara. I get why Ciara got up from the table. I'm sure she was thinking, damn, I was really there for you. And then you couldn't stop talking about how you broke up with me to reporters. Still struggling, hating him for the way he handled the breakup. But can he be a loser with an asterisk? Is lovable loser a category? Yes. As I talked last episode, all shitty men, you can most men, honestly, you could categorize into loser or weirdo. Loser is someone you could, like, hang out with, have a conversation with, but you're like, they're kind of a loser. And a weirdo is someone you, like, don't want to get within 10 feet of. And the way I put it,
saying run. Yeah.
The way I put it in Summer House is Kyle and Wes are losers, but Jesse and Carl are weirdos. Like, keep them away. Yes.
And Andrea is the miracle that just gets off this list.
He's the asterisk.
And we talked about this on also, then it's like a Venn diagram of people who are losers.
Nick Viall is both. Nick Viall's both. Anyway, but yes, Wes, the thing about losers is they can be very lovable. If we want to bring on other shows, Shep from Southern Charm is such a loser, but he is very lovable in, like, a way. Yeah. Like, he's so shitty. It's like you can't trust a loser, but you could be around them. You can enjoy.
Yeah,
you could shoot the shit. You could shoot the shit with them, have them as an acquaintance.
Weirdos, like, your gut is, like, freaking out 24-7.
Yeah, loser's the guy you see show up at the party and you're
it's like Thomas Ravenel and Whitney.
Weirdo. Craig's a weirdo too. But like Austin, loser, you know?
Yeah.
There you can come Tom
That's
Schwartz.
the problem. The
Tom
losers
Schwartz
make
is a
you feel a
loser.
little safe where you're like,
Tom Schwartz
we're
is
okay.
a loser. Jax is a weirdo. Tom Sandoval's
Yeah.
kind of both. He falls in with the Nick Vials.
I agree.
But
I
yes,
agree.
losers are lovable. They're just losers, you know? They're just they're just shitty men. They're just shitty men. So yes. Anyway, and then Lindsay says, "Where's Emerald?" Let me tell you.
We did tell you.
This poor man. This poor man. Anyway, shitty episode. Honestly, I wouldn't even say this is our best work, but we tried our hardest with what we were given. It's hard.
Usually the bad episodes give us good ones, but I don't think we can do anything with this mess.
We are so good at talking about literally nothing because
you're going to end it there.
No, we do it on Also all the time. The problem is if the content's not even good. Because we can make any content usually good, but
we usually anchor it in one funny moment or one discussion point in a boring episode. We can find something, but the best thing was Wes looking at the camera, which
we've already beaten all these storylines to death, though. We don't need to go into Jesse anymore. We don't need to go into Kyle We've done Kyle for like 9 seasons at this point.
They had to, I guess, give us this weekend because we had to know that Lexi and Jesse like made up. But it annoys me because this would have been a skippable weekend.
No, truly. Don't even watch the episode. Just listen to our podcast. Anyway, that's our show. Do all the things I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Love you.
Thanks for joining. Bye.